Coming up in the news, Franklin Graham, the president of Samaritan's Purse, on Grand Bahama today. Residents in Marsh Harbor and Spring City voicing their concerns. And an apparent suicide leaving a community in shock. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the president of Samaritan Purse making a stop on this northern island. Reverend Franklin Graham has been instrumental in hurricane relief efforts as Samaritan's Purse was set up to provide medical care on Grand Bahama after this island's premier healthcare facility was severely damaged by the storm. Today, Graham and government officials were taken on a tour of the medical facility. Our Italia Hall was there. Christian evangelist and president of Samaritan's Purse, Franklin Graham, and his team were greeted by government officials at the Grand Bahama International Airport. From there, the group traveled to the Samaritan's Purse facility that was erected shortly after Hurricane Dorian. Graham had an opportunity to witness doctors and nurses in action at the facility. He says he was compelled to render assistance after seeing the devastation that Hurricane Dorian left behind at the Rand Memorial Hospital. He says he knew that there was a need for residents to have access to medical care.
And so the Ministry of Health just opened up the doors and did everything they could to assist us. And so our goal is help the people of the Bahamas with health care, and of course on Abaco and others, it's helping to clean up and help with the rubble removal, these types of things. But here we're focused on the medicine, and it just does my heart so much good to see the hospital used, people being treated, people being helped. And of course, as a Christian organization, we do this in Jesus' name.
Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands, and Minister of State for Disaster Preparedness, Management, and Reconstruction, the Honorable Iram Lewis, expressing gratitude to Graham and Samaritan's Purse on behalf of the Bahamian people.
A tent facility rising up out of the ground is something that was foreign even to me. So I came to the site to see what they were going to do. And since that time, almost 8,000 patients have been treated here. 200 people have undergone surgery. Many of them recovered, most of them recovered beautifully. And the partnership has been absolutely remarkable.
As a minister responsible for disaster preparedness, management, and reconstruction, we are the management and reconstruction phase now. And as Dr. Sands indicated, we've been reconstructing even the human. The persons here, and it's because of your help. So once again, we want to say thank you, and we appreciate the fact that you have agreed to stay around until our permanent facilities are back in place.
Minister of State for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, and Managing Director of the Bahamas Disaster Reconstruction Authority, K. Forbes Smith, also thanking Graham for the hospital.
What makes it that much more special is at every occasion he has mentioned that he is doing this on behalf of Christ. And for us in the Bahamas, we also have a very deep Christian tradition. Many Christians here and can identify with what the message that he brings. And so as children of God, and also as persons who share that same Christian tradition, we can completely identify with what he is saying.
But it's the people of Samaritan's Purse that I find so intriguing and so wonderful to work with. And I suppose because the foundation of your work is based on God and really this strong Christian walk, if you talk to the people who represent Samaritan's Purse throughout the country, they are wonderful people.
After touring the field hospital, they then took a short walk to the nearby Rand Memorial Hospital, where repairs are ongoing. At the end of the tour, Graham led the group in a word of prayer. Italia Hall, ZNS Network News. Well, we go now to an update on the Garnet Lavardi Justice Center. For many years, the courthouse was in a state of disrepair, but there is some good news tonight as work is just about complete. In this report, our Italia Hall talks with the contractor carrying out the work. The $2 million contract was signed at the end of 2018 with NOLA Investments for repairs at the Garnet-Lavardy Justice Center. Contractor Max Kwan says repairs to the Supreme Court section is complete and they are wrapping up work in the magistrate sections, which is now 85% complete.
We had a 6-week delay because we had no power, no water. We couldn't do anything, and for another 6 weeks after hurricane, we couldn't get any materials to complete what we started, so we had a setback.
He says some changes were made in the magistrate's court and a Supreme Court was added.
We also put in the infrastructure for a standby generator that's going to run somewhere between $150,000 and $180,000 to accommodate in the event that they have a power outage, that the services that they render would not be disturbed because of power outage. Subject to that, we've done all the air conditions. They have 2 brand new 10-ton units on this side. We've done a complete remodeling of this side. The bathrooms, all of the offices, the bathrooms in the judges' chambers, and we've done all of the drop ceilings and the kitchen facilities.
He says it was a challenging project, but they are up to task. Now, Kwan says he expects all work to be completed by the end of the month. It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, police called to the scene of an apparent suicide this morning that reportedly took place on the grounds of the estate of the late Sir Jack Hayward. This tragic incident leaving that small upscale community in a state of shock and police officers searching for answers. Officers scouring the scene through Seascape Lane off Royal Palmway. Neighbors left in complete shock as they learned of the apparent suicide of a man whom they've known for many years. According to Superintendent Brian Roll, officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, they were alerted about the death sometime Friday morning.
Sometime this morning, about 10:30 a.m., officers at Lucaya Police Station received information from a male who came into the station reporting that a friend of his that he hasn't seen in 2 days, he checked his residence, and on entering the garage, he found him unresponsive. His engine, he was sitting in the car, the engine of the vehicle was still running. There appears to be a large amount of exhaust in the garage. As a result, the officers had proceeded with him to Royal Palm Way. And once they arrived in the area, they checked the garage. They found the body of a black male, believed to be in his mid-50s, lying in the car unresponsive.
Police say once EMS arrived on the scene, they confirmed that the man dressed in a gray sweatpants and white singlet was dead. For Fred Clark and his wife, they knew the victim for nearly 20 years. And Gregory Peyton Ash says he met him some 8 years ago. They described the victim as a good neighbor, but they claimed that he had been struggling with depression lately.
He was often over and we'd talk with him, but I know that he was concerned about his home and his livelihood. But I certainly didn't suspect this, that's for sure.
Well, he was very depressed. We knew that, so I didn't think of it, but, you know.
We think it's terrible. He's been an excellent neighbor and a good friend, yes. But I'm sorry it's worked out like this.
Oh, he was always a cheerful guy, and he was a great singer, and he was always said hello and was welcoming, and we had a good relationship. I knew him well, and obviously he knew our housekeeper as well, and they used to come here quite regularly.
Peyton Ash describes the last time he saw the victim alive.
Apparently, he was in our housekeeper's apartment 2 days ago, and he was Googling carbon monoxide, and she saw it. She didn't mention it to me, though, unfortunately. I would have come and spoke to him. But, yeah. Wow. We were working on the wall down there, and he came and chatted to us for a while. He looked okay. He didn't look well. He didn't look his normal self, but he didn't look like he was about to commit suicide.
A wrecker was called in to remove the vehicle, and the victim's remains were carried out by authorities. Police say while this case is a suspected suicide, it will be classified as one once investigations are complete. Now, unconfirmed reports say the victim once worked as a butler with the late Port Authority chairman, Sir Jack Hayward. Now, we can confirm that the man found dead this morning on the property of the late Sir Jack Hayward has been identified by relatives as Trevor Julius Bethel, butler of the late Sir Jack Hayward. Longtime partner of the late Sir Jack Hayward, Frances Singer Hayward, who hosted many of Grand Bahamas' signatory events and contributed much to animal welfare, has issued a statement on Bethel's passing. She says the news of Bethel's death is shocking, surprising, and sad. She notes that Bethel was loyal, talented, and a constant professional who gave his life, time, and resources to enhance others. She says he will also be missed. Frances Singer Hayward is extending heartfelt condolences to Bethel's family and friends. Coming up, budgeting, even in a bad economy, it can take you from rags to riches. That's coming up after the break.